Welcome to the What the Podcast, where anything can happen. The hosts and guests remain anonymous to protect the innocent and the guilty. The views and opinions shared here are not the views and opinions of the sponsors, but they should be.
All right, we're back for another episode with the podcast. Got Shocker, Grumpy.
What's
How you
up?
doing, guys? I do have to tell you one story about flying though, because we were Bride and I were celebrating an anniversary, and one of the things I had never done before is gone up in a helicopter. So she books this helicopter tour and surprises me. So I have no time to process this, no time to think about it. Well, we get there, and it's one of these little, 20 something $1,000 helicopters, the little rotary thing that you see at the beach.
Yeah.
And we get there, and the guy is probably in his late 20s, and I start just grilling this guy with questions. I said, how long you been flying? Because it's just gonna be me and my bride and this guy, in this little plane that looks like you bought it off Amazon. And and so, I blogged, I can't remember, 1,000 hours. I fly in the summer, I fly in Hawaii, and then I'm here in the winter or whatever it was. And he goes back and forth. We were down Florida. And so he starts talking about all these things. And I said, well, that's good. I said, are you married? He said, no. I said, do you have any children? He said, no, I don't have any children. He said, I have a girlfriend. I said, do you like her? Is it going well? And and my bride is elbowing the hell out of me while this helicopter is starting to spin up. And she said, Toss, stop. And I said, well, hang on a second. I said, before we go up in this little Amazon helicopter with this guy, I said, I need to know
Amazon.
I need to know he's got a reason to live.
I'll send you guys a picture talking about helicopter trips. What you flew in was a Robinson R-44, and they're
No,
they're
thanks.
they're
I
very
I
popular for.
probably I probably could have died without knowing that, but I appreciate you
It's okay.
saving me
I
from that.
studied helicopters for a while. They are lightweight machines, but they have an enormously strong track record. They're a really good helicopter. They are on the cheaper end, but they get the job done. So we were in Destin, and I wanted to take my daughters up. And so, much like you, I reached out and grabbed, a tour and went up, showed up, and they had the doors off. And my youngest daughter was probably 5 or 6 at the time. And so she gets in the back. I go co-pilot. Both daughters are in the back. They're safety belted in, but the safety belt, Abigail was so small, the safety belt wasn't very effective. And I turn around and look at her at one point, and she had the fear of God on her face as he was cruising over, making a right hand turn, and she's on the open side, and you're basically looking down at the ocean. She was flipping out, and she took it in stride. But I have a picture of that somewhere. If I can find it, I'll send it to you because it's priceless. She was scared to death. She goes, "Would you want me to put the doors on?" I'm like, "No, man, we don't need doors."
That's the best way to
I
roll.
I didn't need doors. Both kids were terrified. I don't think they'll ever get on a helicopter again.
Yes, Shocker has spent a bunch of hours in helicopters.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was my first foray before fixed wing. I flew helicopters. That's
Nice.
beat the air into submission.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I yeah, I've always wanted to get my certificate, but never got around to it just from busyness.
Yeah,
But I researched and spent a lot of time learning. And my dad, my biological father is not my dad, but he was a helicopter pilot,
yeah.
and out of Fort Rucker, Alabama, where I was born. And yeah, I never understood why I had the desire to fly. It's pretty strong with me, but because
That's awesome.
my dad doesn't do anything remotely close to it. So there are some things that are genetic.
Yeah, I
It,
spent two different times at Fort Rucker. So know Fort Rucker well. I still call it Fort Rucker as it should be.
yeah, me too. I think they're changing the name back.
I
I
hope
But they
saw an
so.
changed the
article on
name
that
too.
recently.
How'd I miss that? They don't
They
call it
did
Rucker
some
anymore?
they did some bullshit when they were doing all that name changing
Yeah,
liberal bullshit.
yeah, a couple of them changed.
What did they change it to? I've never heard anybody called anything other than Fort Rucker, and it's only a few hours from me.
I can't recall off the top of my head. I mean, it actually is a good legitimate name for Rucker with all the flight training. It's I think it may be one of the pilots from Black Hawk Down. I can't recall. But nonetheless, for all the reasons all of these military bases were changed, I don't like.
Yeah.
That's just
Well,
bullshit.
change it back. Put those statues back up. Bunch of bullshit. That's what that was. So
Absolutely.
we're at 40 minutes, and I know this wasn't on the schedule, but we started out this whole thing with a poop story, right? And
Yeah.
I'm in just good enough mood to tell this story. If you guys are okay with it.
You got that urge building? You
No,
feeling it? Is
no,
that what
Yeah,
brought this top of mind?
yeah.
no, I don't, I
Turtle
don't,
head poking
yeah,
out.
no turtle heads at the moment, but
Crowning.
um, yeah,
Yeah, it's sharding.
it's still pretty fresh on the brain. So, have you guys seen that shark survival kit that's on sale on TikTok?
No,
No.
I
It's
need
legit.
one.
It's legit too. I don't know who thought of that, but at 56 years old, I'm sick and damn tired of people making money off stupid ideas that I could have made money off of, but I wasn't stupid enough to think of it. I don't know. But why there's not a shark survival kit and hadn't been for 30 years? This has been a problem for 30 years. I mean, why are we just now figuring out to make a shark kit out of it? I don't know. It's crazy to me, but yeah.
Do you carry
So
one in your backpack?
no, but I mean, I have legitimately thought of maybe getting one because you just, you never know. I mean, the things you see on the internet are killing me. There's some guy who's invented a shitter for your truck,
Oh
so
yeah, hooks
that
to the hooks to
hooks
the
the
tailgate ball
back
area.
seat.
Yeah.
Well, no, this
Oh
is
no.
inside the cab of the truck, which I mean, the comments, gentlemen, are absolute gold.
I'm
They're
Googling
they're
this.
worth it just to read the comments because hilarious.
Barty, I think
Um,
your wife has almost self-created one of these in the back seat.
Oh no, she has an entire go bag. It is it is a
there's gonna
I
come a
actually
time.
I put it together for her. I mean, I stocked it for her.
Yeah.
I mean, she could survive the early stages of nuclear winter with this go bag that she has.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, pooping in the red biohazard bag on the poop cruise would be nothing for her. She'd be like, "Let me show you all how to
Oh
do
yeah.
this."
Well, I know firsthand that Wynn's pretty good at bumper sitting, so um, been on a few motorcycle trips where you got to go, you got to
Yep,
go.
that's
Yep.
right.
But
There's
this,
actually multiple shark survival kits on Amazon. How about
I'm
that?
telling you, it's a market. Who would have thought, right?
I did know. Oh, this is my favorite one. It's a doo-doo disaster doo-doo disaster defense.
A DDD.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Tell me the story.
That's hilarious. So recently, I went to Texas uh, to go after Miriam's, or Rio's. I'm sorry, Rio
Is
turkeys.
this is this when you got banned from Texas? You're not allowed to go back.
I don't think I'll ever go back to Texas, and that's not because of a ban. That's because I had the worst fucking experience that I have ever had on a guided hunt trip in my life. Um, I'll no, I'll go somewhere else. Um, the guide and I did not get along, and there's other stories to be told there, but I'll limit this one to just the 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 poop story. So to get the brevity of it, I think you have to understand that when I'm hunting, I wear a couple layers of things, and one is called rhino skin. And rhino skin is basically an insect suit that you could make yourself much cheaper with pantyhose because that's basically what it is.
It's Under
And it's
Armour.
skin tight. skin tight, breathable, but you don't ever get chiggers or ticks. And that's when I don't want to get chiggers and ticks, especially if you're hunting in the springtime and you're sitting in tall grass, you know you're in the middle of it. And you don't protect yourself, you're just asking for it. And in all my years of turkey hunting, I've never had a tick or a chigger. So I wear it religiously. And it's like pantyhose. So it's a whole suit. You get the shirt and the pants, gloves, socks, etc.
Now,
Um,
real quick, Grumpy. This is
mhm.
just a layer, right? You're not out there in a skin tight suit roaming around for turkey, are you? Because
No,
this
no,
image is frightening me, and I was about to log off.
no. The
Okay,
second layer is more normal. So this is
okay,
just a base
okay,
layer.
okay. All right.
Um, and then my second layer is a hex suit, which I swear by. Um, and some people think it's gimmicky, but I have a lot of experiences with wildlife due to that hex suit. So I wear that hex suit. So basically, what I've got on is those two things. And the hex suit is camouflaged and it's a suit too. So it's long sleeved and pants, boots, and it's hot because it's the hill country of Texas. So, um, it's so you don't want to wear a whole lot. Um, but if it's winter, then I'll go to other layers. But that's my general hunting get up for turkey. So it's day 3. Day 1 was uneventful. Day 2 was a disaster. Day 3, um, is up there in the books. Is pretty tall as well. So I typically, if I'm going to be remote or in the woods for a whole day, I don't eat a whole lot before I go in because I'm concerned about what can happen. But I forgot that rule on this particular day. And the guide had done some bacon and egg biscuits, and it was all homemade and smelled pretty good. So I'm like, all right. So I eat this biscuit. Not a whole lot of biscuit, just normal size biscuit. And then he takes me deep into the property. It's about 3,000 acres out there, and drops me off in this area where he says there's birds, and there
I've
were
got to
birds, but
I've got to push pause here. Did 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 you all have a disagreement before this point where there may be some X-lax intrusion in the biscuits, or
I don't
is
think
you
so.
don't think
Yeah,
that's at play here?
no, I don't think so. I don't think that's a play because he made a group of biscuits and they were individually wrapped, and he
And
wouldn't know which one
no
I
one
picked
else
up.
shit
Yeah,
themselves. Okay, all right, good.
that I'm aware of.
All right, proceed,
Um,
proceed.
but yeah, and so he drops me off in this remote area, and I have a pretty good morning with some activity, and but I was a little too deep into a area where I couldn't see very well. So again, every time you turkey hunt, you learn something. So I had I'd hunted that area in the morning, and then I was gonna go by foot to some other areas he said he had seen some tracks. And so I move around a good bit. And we talk about the warning signs. I mean, in your first story, Shocker, you talked about the gurgling effect. There was no gurgling here. Um, and It was, a little bit of pressure that had built a few minutes before this. So I'm thinking, okay, well, that's enough I can hold back, right? I'll be all right. And so I'm on my way to my next spot. And I shit you not, no pun intended. My, I got a red flag warning. Um, and there was no other, and it was instantaneous warning. It was like I went from I'm gonna be okay to holy shit really,
Literally.
really quickly. Um, and so I started to pucker walk best I could and realized shortly thereafter that that was going to be ineffective. And I needed to find somewhere to shit the woods really quickly. And I've gotten pretty good at shitting in the woods, if you want to be completely transparent. But those shits in the woods were under my own terms. Okay. And when they're under your own terms, that means something. When it's not under your own terms, It's terrifying. So as I'm puckering, I'm looking around to figure out where the hell am I going to squat? And how in the hell am I going to get out of what I'm wearing in a timely fashion? Because the message that's being sent to my brain is that you're out of time, buddy. So I look around and I find a happened to be next to me, a large tree that had fallen down some time ago. And I'm like, well, I could sit there. Maybe
Mm,
I need to quit thinking about this and get there because I'm running out of time
mm.
without going into gory detail. So I'm dropping my turkey vest. I got my gun on one shoulder. I'm dropping that and it hit the ground. I didn't even care. It was a mad race for time. And I dig my thumbs into the 2 layers I've got on and I go bare-assed as fast as I can. And I sit over and over sit over the tree. So you can't sit on the tree and shit, right? You have to sit like on the front part of your legs. And you should try this sometime. It might be
Sorry.
good training. It's a challenge. It's a little different. But I
That-
just barely got my ass out in time. And as I am trying to squat and sit on this tree, all holy hell breaks loose. And I projectiled out about 2 feet. I didn't measure it, but when I went back, when I looked back, I was there was a lot of force, force I had never experienced before. And that poor tree took a good loading, and everything from about 2 feet out took a good loading. And there was no multiple waves to it. It was just one holy bam. So now I'm sitting on this tree with my pantyhose suit and my hex around my knees, get everywhere. And now I'm going, okay, what am I going to do now? So I proceed. I mean, you use a sock, right?
Yeah,
That's about all you can do,
sock
right?
or underwear. That's the written rule. Yeah.
Right. So um, I proceed to balance myself on this tree with my legs and take off my right boot to get to my right sock. Get everywhere. Um, and, to wrap it up, no pun intended, that poor sock did its job. And then I got dressed, redressed with one sock on, and hunted the rest of that day. And I had blisters on that foot. I probably hiked another 13 miles over the course of trying to find birds. Um, and yeah, I don't ever want to go to Texas again.
All right, but I got some follow-up questions though. And I've got to ask, okay.
Mhm.
First is when you sat down on the tree, did you bother to look if Mr. No Shoulders,
That's where
big
they like.
ass
That's where they like to
snake,
hide,
is
right?
laying next to that tree?
Low on the priority scale.
Damn. I would have had to have looked at least.
Yeah,
I'm
a
not
bite
getting
on
bitten
the
on the
ass.
ass.
Oh,
I mean,
That
because
was a
you don't,
risk I was willing to take at the
I
time. That
know
was
it.
a risk
And
I
if
was
I've
willing
been
to
with you,
take.
if I've been with you, I love you, brother, but I'm not sucking your ass to get that venom out of there.
Well, if you had been there, it probably would have been one of those biker handshakes where you kind of held me up while I just kind of squatted to the side. We would have
that's
pulled through that together. That would have been a real brother
Nah,
moment right there.
no, you're gonna have to fight that battle on your own. That is not a battle you fight with anybody else.
No, it was
we
humiliating.
may have just outlined a new yoga pose, like the friend support shitter pose. We're gonna have to come up and name this. I'm gonna give some thought to this.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in. That's
It's
take that one
no,
on.
we can make this easy. Just call it the Grumpy.
The
No,
Grumpy.
it'd be the Texas squat or something. You'd have to pin it on Texas somewhere. Um, but I will tell
Okay.
you this: I later that day I was hiking up a hill, and it's funny how you find shade in Texas because I even watched turkeys do it. They get so hot, everything gets so hot that it finds shade. Anything you can sit under and not be in the sun. And I was doing that uh, at one point, and I was hiking out of that area, and I came across what looked like a really big egg, like not softball, maybe twice the size of a softball. And I'm thinking, they had all kinds of animals on this reserve. I mean, a lot of African stuff that they had brought over.
Hmm.
I'm thinking eggs. I mean, what do we got? Dinosaur eggs in here? What is this? And I kick it over, and when it flips over, it's got two fangs out of the top of it,
Oh Lord.
and it was the head of a rattlesnake.
Oh shit!
Uh, and I am not kidding you when it was twice the size of my hand. So those that's legit Texas. I mean
Everything's
that
bigger. Everything's bigger in Texas.
man, I would not mm, man, I would not want to try to tangle with something like that.
All right. Now, my next question though is, you said something earlier. You said if you're going to shit in the woods, you want to do it on your own terms.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
cannot think of a single time in my life that I have shit in the woods when I didn't absolutely have to without choice. So you're saying you voluntarily have taken a shit in the woods when you had the alternative of waiting until you could get back to the creature comforts of an actual toilet?
No, no. There this was on my buddy's land before he built his barn dominium. So there was no plumbing. I mean, at that point when we went out there, we carried rolls of toilet paper because we knew that morning shit
Nah, nah,
was going to be in
I'm
the
driving.
woods.
I'm driving to Waffle House. There's no
Oh
way.
yeah, yeah. It's once you've done it a handful of times, it ain't that big a deal. Um,
Oh yeah, it's still a big deal.
you do check the wind direction though. I mean, you learn that early on.
And
You want to know the wind direction, and you want to shit upwind.
and and
Um,
and, and downhill,
yeah,
uphill,
yeah,
downhill. Get the hill right.
yeah. It's true. But it's good to know, man. If you got that skill set, you can do it wherever you got to do it. It's kind of like bumper sitting, but not quite.
Yeah. And you got to mark the spot at least until you get a couple of good rains to come through there.
Yeah, but there are some scavenging animals that will take that right up. So it
Like
doesn't
what?
hang around very long.
What scavenging animal eats human shit? I need to know this.
Well, a lot of dogs do. I mean, dogs eat shit. It doesn't matter if it's deer shit or their shit or anybody's shit for that matter. I've never tested the theory, but yeah, I mean, raccoons, skunks, possums, a lot of scavenger night type animals that, I've had plenty of piles of shit in my yard, deer shit, not my shit. Um, but yeah, it doesn't last long. It's kind of strange. It disappears pretty quick.
Well, that's good to know. I've never
Yeah.
really studied it. I had our son years ago. He was he was like, I don't know, 11, 12 years old, and I am trying to get him hooked on turkey hunting. And buddy of mine had this great property. I mean, birds just gobbling everywhere. So I take my son out and I set him up, and I'm sitting, 20, 25 yards behind him. And I have given him instruction. And the instruction is the birds are roosting right over that ridge. They're up in the trees. When the daylight comes up, they're going to be able to see you. Two things are very important. One, don't freaking move. And two, is make sure when you shoot when they're not blown up anymore, they're not strutting, and aim for the head. Those are the two instructions I've given him. Morning is perfect. It is a perfect morning. Birds gobbling like crazy. We don't have a whole lot of competition from the hens. I mean, it is a perfect morning. So I mean, the woods are waking up, and I'm like, we are going to kill a good turkey today. This is going to work great. But we had one problem. My son would not damn sit still. He would not sit still. He was shifting, he was scratching, he kind of do different things. Well, this has gone on for like 20 minutes and I'm like, "Sit still, buddy. Just be still. They're gonna see you." Birds are still gobbling. I haven't given up yet. And he finally stands up. And I'm like, what the hell? What the hell are we doing out here? I mean, we've gotten up at
Hmm.
40 in the
Hunt's
morning.
over.
We've driven an hour. The hunt's over. And I go over there and I said, buddy, I said, what are you doing? He said, yeah, Dad, I was sitting in an ant bed.
I fought it as long as I could. So
Oh
mad.
and he
no.
and he is eaten up. They have gotten right above his waistline, and they have gotten him in the love handles. They have gotten him in the front. He has got so
Oh,
many
God bless
bites. I
him.
mean, he is literally nauseated, and I felt like
Oh
Father
my
of the
gosh.
Year.
That's hilarious. That's
Oh,
hilarious.
he's
God bless him.
he,
He'll never turkey hunt
oh.
again.
No, he will go, but he's told me, Dad, I'm not going to just sit there if I'm getting eaten by
Yeah.
ants. I'm like, no. And I told him
Yeah.
afterwards, I said, buddy, I said, the first time you got bitten, you should have jumped your ass up and walked over to me and said, we got to hunt somewhere else. And I would have said, all right, let's go find another spot. That's fine. But he took it, but it made him sick. He got eaten up with those ants. It was awful.
Yeah. I'll tell you a quick funny story. I hunted turkeys for a few years and made every mistake you could make, right? I mean, I didn't have a mentor. And so a buddy of mine who I grew up with in church during our single years, he kept posting pictures on Facebook of these strutters strutting in front of him. I'm like, dude, I got to get this guy to teach me. And so I contact him. He's in. We're good. We go to a lease I've got, and we're working some birds. And he's calling, and I'm sitting, and I've not killed a turkey yet. And these turkeys come up the hill, which they typically don't do, right? And I
Right.
see two heads pop up and look around, and then boop, they're gone. Um, and I didn't quite get the importance of being perfectly still as I do now because he gets up and comes back up from behind me. I'm standing up because they're gone now. And he takes his hat off his head and he whacks the shit out of me like three times, like I'm 7 years old. And I felt seven at the time. I mean, it was whack, whack, whack. And I'm like, what? He goes, stop moving. He told me like nine times. And then it was like, stop moving. He was furious with me. And I wasn't moving that much. Um, but I got the message and don't move anymore, ever again. And then he says, that should have been a dead bird. So I learned a lot from Michael. And he's a good friend of the stage. In fact, it was his F-250. I left the phones on the bumper on it. So,
Yeah. Hey, the worst turkey hunt that I ever went through was also one of my best. I am hunting this bottom area. I'm down kind of near a creek. I'm in a hunting club, but none of the guys are out there. I can't remember why, but I was kind of had the place all to myself. And I get down there and set up on this bird. And it is one of those perfect mornings. He's talking to me. I'm matching with him. I've got him fired up. I mean, I can see him, 200 yards away up in a tree, but I'm convinced I'm going to kill this turkey. And so I'm working him, working him, working him. And he finally pitches down out of that tree. And and so I'm like, all right, he's going to come to me. He keeps talking to me. He's moving towards me. I'm starting to get set up. I'm getting ready. And then he turns left and starts walking away from me.
uh,
And I'm like, oh, what
um,
the
so
hell?
frustrating. Been there.
What the hell? Well, what I end up figuring out is he pitched down on the wrong side of the freaking creek.
Oh,
And
he
he
won't
wasn't
cross
coming
over.
across the creek. I thought he had pitched down across the creek towards on my side, but he had pitched down in a curve of the creek and was on the wrong damn side. And
Mm.
so I pull off my face mask. I lay my gun down next to me. Um, and I am sitting there thinking about, again, I'm out there all by myself. So I've got hundreds of acres of property I can work with. I don't have to worry about where anybody else is. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, where's he going? Where's he going? So I am planning where I'm going to go to circle around and get in front of him and just hope that he's still fired up enough to talk to me. And so this goes on for probably 10, 12 minutes. So I'm listening to him go away from me, and I've stopped talking to him because I'm trying to plan where I'm going to go. And I do one last cluck just to see where he is. And when I do that, Grump, I swear to God, within 10 yards of me, directly behind me on the other side of the tree, I hear the loudest, most perfect gobble I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yes.
And I'm like, what the hell? And now I can hear him drumming. And without
Even better.
making a single sound, another gobbler has snuck up behind me and is strutting right behind my tree. So I'm sitting against this big oak tree, and the oak tree is about as wide as my shoulders. And so I'm kind of turning and I'm kind of trying to get an eye on him. And when he spins while he's strutting, I know I can his back's to me, so I can actually turn a little bit more. Well, I finally figure out that he's not moving. He's confused because I've stopped talking. He's trying to get me to say something. I can't say anything because I'm too damn close to him. I'm also not in a position where I can shoot. So every time he turns, I'm doing a little bit to pick up my gun. He could see my gun because of where it was laying next to the tree. So I've got to pick this thing up so he doesn't see it. I got to get turned around. I finally turn and angle my upper body while I'm still sitting, lean my head down to the right so I'm looking around this damn tree. And now I can see him. And now I got to get the gun up. So every time he spins, I adjust a little bit more. Well, I finally get
Mm.
around where I am leaning around this tree with my cheekbone, my right cheekbone, laying on top of this shotgun, and I get the perfect shot, and I pull the trigger. Now I haven't thought this shit through because the recoil of the
Wow.
shotgun comes up. It catches me in the cheekbone, catches
Oh,
me in the bone above my eye, and catches me in the nose. And I am seeing stars, and I have absolutely no idea where I am. I'm having one of those moments when I'm like, where am I and what's happening and why is my head killing me? And it takes me like 2 minutes to figure out what the hell's going on. And then I'm like, oh, I shot the turkey and he's flopping. So I got him.
nice.
But
Nice.
he was a good one. But I about killed myself in the process. It
I was
was
about to
it
say
was not my finest moment.
sometimes you pay a price, you know? I mean, sometimes you pay a price. So
Well,
that's a good
some
hunt
people
though.
talk about some people talk about scope kiss. No, 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 no.
Mm, yeah. I've got an amazing story that's similar to that I could share at another time. But just in short, I was taking a couple of juveniles hunting my daughter and her friend. Her friend really wanted to go bad, and she was left eye dominant, shooting right hand, and was going all the way over the rifle to get her left eye down thing and shot it. And when it did, the recoil busted her face, and she got
Oh
a bird,
man.
huge bird, but she paid a price. But yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, cool. All right, well,
All
that's an hour
right.
eight.
Yep. I'll wrap it
We got
up.
to
I'm
do
gonna
some.
cut this one into two
Yeah,
episodes. I'll shorten it
yep,
down.
yep. And another suggestion might be to kind of tell turkey stories would be fun.
Oh yeah, we gotta tell hunting stories. I've got some great ones. I mean, the time that I heard a bobcat scream,
Hmm.
that I got surrounded by coyotes one night coming out of the woods without anything other than a compound bow and some broadheads.
Yeah.
I've had some hunting story moments that. Mm,
Yeah. That would be rich.
yep. All right, buddy. Well, have a good one.
Check you later, bro. See you, man.
Later.
You have survived another episode of the What the Podcast. The views and opinions shared here are not the views and opinions of the sponsors. Tell your friends. Or don't. We don't care.